Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Tuesday, January 10th, and I am Deb Lutz, also known as Deluxe, coming here live to you in a split screen. Once again, I don't know, guys. All I do is ask for the feed to StreamYard, and Crash sends it to me. And some of the time it looks good, and some of the time I turn out like this. But anyway, like David Dulac has said, two's better than one. So here we go. We got a great 7-game slate tonight. I really like this slate. I think there's a lot of value on here, which enables you to get to some of the nice pay-ups, and should be particularly interesting from a GPP perspective with some of the guys that we have out tonight and some of the fill-ins. So I'm going to give you a couple of my favorite picks from each of the games, and we'll try and run through this really quickly so I can get lineups posted in 30 minutes. All right, just checking in on the chat here, and congrats to my friend David Dulac, #1 in the chat today. So thank you very much for joining us early, and welcome, and excited to see you here. In addition, we've got Travis Wyndham. What's up? How's it going? Great to have you here. And Payne Blanksman. All right, so hope you guys are having a great Tuesday. I don't know about you, but this is feeling like an awful long week to me, but I like the way the games are breaking down this week. I don't think we have any days this week where we've got over 10 games, and that's my sweet spot. So I love these 6, 7, 8-game nights. Made some money last night, so I was real happy about that. Didn't do the main slate because I was real busy, but played in a little bit of the late night action. So hopefully you guys had some good lineups as well. I know that that we put some good lineups out on Coach Talk, so hopefully you're able to make some money. All right, here we go. And like I said, like I always say, feel free to ask any questions, post them in the chat. We won't be doing a 2 brains are better than one, since we only have one split brain today. But I will give you my take. Okay, so first game up is Detroit at Philadelphia. It's a 7 p.m. Eastern game, over under 225, and a spread of a whopping 13.5. This game makes me extremely nervous. I smell blowout potential all over the place. Joel Embiid is expected to be back. He's looking probable. And the ever important defense of PJ Tucker is going to be in as well. So Philly is really healthy. Detroit, on the other hand, not so much. They are decimated in the front court with Bagley, Duren, and Livers all out. So that's going to, open up some minutes for Isaiah Stewart and possibly even Nerlens Noel. Yes, I did say Nerlens Noel. If you're, playing that GPP at min salary, not a bad idea. He's going to be getting some minutes having to defend Embiid. Yeah, I'm going to go a little light overall in this game because of the blowout potential. I'm a big fan of Killian Hayes. I think he's been playing great. He's even played well against Philadelphia in their last time out. So not a bad play at all, in my opinion. The rest, I'm just looking for a little bit of value. So probably not going to anyone on the Philadelphia side. At one point, I was considering George Niang because I think he's going to get some extra run tonight. But you got so many healthy bodies there on Philly. They can really split up those minutes, and I don't trust it. But back on the Detroit side of things, like I said, Nerlens Noel, I think if you have the stomach for it, I think he's a really interesting GPP play. The other GPP option for me is Diallo. He may be starting. If he doesn't, he's going to be quickly off the bench as they need some forward positions. And he's a pretty nice points per minute guy. At least he has been this year. So I would definitely grab some value there from this game. This value is pretty chalky. If we go to, let's see, where's our ownership? Yeah, if we look on Draftkings, and just give me 1 minute, that ownership is popping up here. Might take a second to log in. Let's see. what we've got coming up. I know when I checked earlier, it was pretty chalky in that game. That there's a lot of chalky value here tonight, but I think there's some sneaky plays as well. Like for example, the Nerlens Noel play is not one that people are eyeing right now. But you have in this game, Isaiah Stewart on Draftkings is over 20%. He's the highest owned. But as I mentioned, Hamidou Diallo at 3,500, he's getting 17% ownership. And Killian Hayes, who's a nicer price on DK than on Fanduel at 5,700, he's at 15% ownership. So those are some of your higher priced guys. Embiid is 17%. Another guy, Sadiq Bey at 4,600, he's only getting 3.4% ownership. So it'll be interesting to see when they put together the lineup in the next few minutes, who's in that starting position. And it may just be that I go with whoever is starting. And like I mentioned, Nerlens Noel, min salary, 0.1%. All right, on to the next game, OKC at Miami. So, this one, if you said at the beginning of the year, okay, OKC is going to be playing Miami in Miami, what's the spread going to be? I certainly wouldn't have predicted 2. Miami is favored by 2, and that's because Miami's got, a list longer than my arm of people who aren't playing, including Haslam, Adebayo, Hero, Jovic, Lowry, Martin, Robinson, and Yurtseven. So again, you're going to be seeing a lot of minutes from the starters on Miami because they've got such a short bench there. So I'm expecting pretty decent numbers across the board from all the starters, maybe with the exception of Highsmith, and it just depends on where you're, how much money you have left. If you want to go for a Butler at 9K. I saw him play the other night live, and he just wasn't looking like the Jimmy Butler of old. I think he's, nerve injury. He's really, just quite. So I am probably not going with Butler tonight. I much prefer to go with like a similarly priced Siakam as an example. But some of the other guys I like are Strus, who's fairly priced. He's starting to get his stroke back. Oladipo, of course, is going to be playing starter minutes. You have Gabe Vincent as well, who I know is getting a lot of high ownership. I'm not a big Gabe Vincent fan. Once in a while, he'll throw a great game out there, but not a great points per minute guy. And then the big O Robinson, and that's not Oscar Robinson, it's Orlando. And, I was really high on him until I saw his price. And would you believe that he is higher priced than Isaiah Stewart? And by the way, I did not mention Isaiah Stewart is almost a plug and play for me. I will be playing a lot of Isaiah Stewart. But back to O Robinson, at that price, I'm not probably going there. There's too many center options tonight. So, but I think he'll perform pretty well. OKC is notoriously bad against centers, so definitely an option. Right now, let's see where he is ownership wise, because that would help to determine whether or not it's worth going there as well. Yeah, he's at 49% ownership. Now he is 5,100 minimum salary on DK, which I think is why he's so highly owned there. On Fanduel, he's at 5,700 and getting 8.6% ownership. That's probably where I'm going to lay off of him at the 5,700. But DK, I think it is a nice option, particularly because you can have the 2 centers there. Over on the OKC side, I like Jalen Williams. I think he's been playing really well. He is up to 6,000 though on FanDuel, and on DraftKings he's only 5,000 on DraftKings. So I do like him on DraftKings. And then the other guy, given that he's not going to be up, given that there's no Bam Adebayo, Kendrick Williams is a nice points per minute guy. If he gets the start, he is just 3,900 on DraftKings. I like him as well. So definitely a lot of value coming out of this game. I think that was brought up in the chat. Let's see what we got here. Oh no, Phoenix. Is Phoenix going to be a value spot? Yes, it is as well. So we've got a lot of value here. And like I said, that's going to open up some opportunities for some of the higher price guys. So let's get to the next game, which does have a couple of those higher price guys. It's Charlotte at Toronto. 229 over under, 7.5 point spread. So, Toronto should handle this, but I don't think it's going to get too out of control. I am, for this game, it's not a big game for me. It is, at the 229, it's a nice number for tonight, but I'm going to go with quality over quantity in this one, and I am eyeing Siakam. I like Siakam a lot against Plumlee, and as we play centers a lot against Charlotte, and it's proven to be very effective. I don't really know on the Charlotte side who is going to come out on top. I really respect Toronto's defense, and I think they're going to keep guys to kind of an average level. I don't see anyone really going nuts here. LaMelo Ball could have a good night, but he is pretty pricey at 8,900. I'd almost prefer to go the other direction with Van Vliet, who will be getting the weaker defense, and he is low 8,000s. So I like Van Vliet and Siakam best out of this game, but this is going to be one where I'm going a little bit light, probably just one guy. On to the 9 o'clock game. It's Cleveland at Utah. So this is going to be the first time that Mitchell is back in Utah since he's been traded. I love it for a revenge narrative. You have a 226.5 over under, Cleveland favored by 2.5. So Vegas expects it to stay close. I'm not too sure about that. Utah is missing a couple of guys, particularly some of their depth, but also Kelly Olynyk. So that weakens the front court a little bit. You also have Sexton out, Horton Tucker out, Bomaro, and Azubuike. So they're definitely thin in the front court, which makes me really like Jared Allen. I like Allen tonight. I think he's a great price. I do see him doing well. He was, last I checked, take a look. I think he was one of the lower, here we go. Yep, 2.8% at 7,500 on Fanduel, and on Draftkings, he is at 4.9%, and he's only 6,200 on DK. So I really do like Allen tonight. He's one of my favorite plays. It's just, again, a matter of figuring out with all these center options who to play and who to leave off the list. And again, like I mentioned, Donovan Mitchell, he's getting some ownership, 9.3% on DraftKings and 19.5% on FanDuel. So he's definitely getting some ownership, but I really do like the revenge narrative tonight. So looking at a couple of guys on Cleveland, Kessler's a good play on Utah with Olynyk out and Azubuike out, but again, tough to figure out what centers to go with, and there are a few that I like better, so I probably will not be going there. But I have to tell you, he's at 1.8 ownership on FanDuel and 1.3 ownership on DraftKings. So very interesting option for sure. Not going to go with Markkanen. I just don't quite think he's going to get there. Cleveland's got that great defense. He'll probably, he'll score. Clarkson will score, and Beasley will score. But I don't see any of those guys having breakout games tonight. Okay, so moving on to David Dulock's value game of the night, and that's Phoenix at the Golden State Warriors. It's the high total of the night at 230, so not so high, but higher than most. This is a crazy blowout game. I don't even want to watch this game. There's no way. It scares me. I think I could play for Phoenix and do better than what's left. We've got Torrey Craig game time decision, Landry Shamet game time decision. Both those guys are tending towards not playing. Ayton's out, Booker's out, Crowder, Cam Johnson's still out, Chris Paul and Cam Payne. So you're talking about starting your third string point guard, and your fourth string probably power forward, and your second string center. I mean, it's just a mess. And Steph Curry's coming back. So I am here's what I'm doing with the Phoenix side of things. I am expecting blowout. These guys have to play a lot of minutes though because there's nobody left to play. That being said, I will not be going with Landry Shamet. I'm thinking he's not going to play. I also won't be going with Mikal Bridges. Bridges is a great player when he's got some talent around him. He is not the main guy. And I think that, his price is fair and he could hit that value, but he feeds more off of other guys. And I just don't know if he can do enough to smash that value. So I'm not going Bridges tonight, which is being a bit contrarian because a lot of people are betting on him as really the only starter that's in there. So he's very highly owned. I do like Landale if he starts. If he doesn't start, I won't go with him, but I do like him. He's got a good offensive game. I also like Washington if he starts. Lee is an interesting narrative because he is a former Golden State Warriors player, and he's actually related to Steph Curry, their brother-in-laws. So David Lee is not David Lee. Damian Lee is an interesting call as well. But I really want to see who starts in this one, and focus on that. So if Lee starts over Washington, I'll go there. But if it's Washington, I think he's got a slightly better offensive game. And I have a little bit of heart for Okogie if he starts. He does not have a good offensive game, but he's a stocks guy and could be extremely sneaky and incredibly low owned. So just something to watch out for if you're playing a GPP. Right now, the way my lineups are constructed, he's not in for me, but somebody that I'm kind of eyeing potentially, again, depending on that starting lineup. On the other side, I'm not going after anyone. I think that Steph Curry will not play enough minutes to warrant his price. I think, Poole has been priced up because of the usage he's been getting. I think he goes back to the bench, a little bit lower usage. I think there's fair usage all around. I just don't see anyone having a real breakout game. I think it's going to be more of a slog out kind of game, and I just don't trust it. So, Sarge, no, David, don't go after Sarge. Sark, I can't stomach Sark. Poor guy. He's like lost a couple of steps since being injured, and he really hasn't integrated himself back. Okay, on to the last two games of the night before my voice wears out because I do not have any water and it's going. So 10 p.m. Eastern, Orlando at Portland. It's a 228.5 spread. Portland is favored by 8. And who do we like from this game? Well, there's a couple of guys I do like from this game. On the Orlando side of things, I do like Wendell Carter. I think he's coming back from injury. He's been playing strong the past few games. Pretty good opportunity against Nurkic. So he's someone to look at. But again, you've got that power forward center debacle where there's so many guys there. The other guy that I'm looking at in a GPP is either Anthony or Suggs. Both of them are coming off the bench, but both of them will probably play 25 to 30 minutes. I just have to figure out which one will have the hot hand. Suggs is still coming back from injury, so I may be going more with Anthony, but someone that I'm looking at in a GPP. And then on the Portland side of things, how can you not like Lillard? He's definitely one of the guys in my consideration set tonight for paying up. And then Jeremy Grant is the other guy that I'm looking at, who just seems to always deliver that, 5.5 times value. He's been pretty consistent. Okay, on to the last game. Another game that is not my favorite. Dallas at the Clippers. Couple of teams that slog it out a little bit. The spread is close though, so I think that these two teams are going to play hard. We've got some injuries. We still have Finney-Smith, Green, and Kleber out on Dallas, and on the Clippers, we've got Paul George and Luke Kennard out. So a couple injuries that are going to take part. On the Clippers side, this makes me want to go with Kawhi. The Clippers really need this game. This would be a really important game for them to win. They have a similar record to the Mavericks, but have not been playing particularly well. And I think Kawhi really steps up in this game. I like him a lot. I think his pricing is fair. I mean, we can still get Kawhi now at, below 9,000, and that's not going to last for very long. So I like Kawhi here. I don't really trust anyone else on the Clippers. I mean, you know me with Norm Powell. He's killed me, but he's certainly, he's sixth guy off the bench. He's going to provide some offense that they're going to need because they're not going to get any offense from Batum or Mann, probably not from Morris. And so I think, and with Kennard out, I think Powell becomes more of a go-to for some offense off the bench. So he may be someone that I go to. He's priced right. On the Dallas side of things, I don't think I'm playing Doncic tonight. I think he's just a little bit too high priced versus everyone else, and he's a little dinged up. So and the Clippers defense is respectable. So I think you're going to find that he's not going to, maybe he'll get that 60, but I don't think he's going to get that 80 or 90 game. But it's tough to not play him. He's been so massive. So, but I'm not playing him tonight. Wouldn't blame you if you did though. Okay, so let's see what we got back in the chat before I let you guys go. Okay, different game, but do you like a Burks tonight? Yeah, I looked at Burks. I think there's better value out there. Burks is a little bit middle of the road. With Bogdanovic out, he should play well, but you have Philadelphia defense. I think this one's going to be a blowout, so I just don't know if he's going to get a full run of minutes. I am not on Burks tonight. And hey, Stacks Money 77, how's it going? I know Luka kills the Clippers. I know. Are you playing Luka? Because I just don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to fit him into my lineup. I may play around with one that has him. It's certainly doable. I like having a couple of these big name guys, actually 3 of them in the lineup as opposed to just Luka and one other. But I would not blame you for playing him. And then Lillard versus Mitchell. I like Mitchell tonight, mostly because of the narrative. Lillard is playing against a less good defense, but I just think the old home crowd, he wants to show off. So he'll probably get some love. So I'm going Mitchell tonight just based on emotion alone. All right, so that is it, guys. Give me about 10 minutes and I will be popping some lineups in. We'll have lineups. I'll have GPP and single entry lineups for Fanduel and Draftkings core, and then we'll do one single entry for Yahoo. All right, guys, have a great Tuesday. Good luck, and Crash will be with you tomorrow when we look to crush it in NBA fantasy.